Welcome to this quick 5-minute coaching video as part of Vitamin P coaching. I care about three things roughly: getting you safe in your body so that you can use your physiology for performance, creating passion or energy in your system, and then purpose is directing it towards a meaningful future. And I hope that this video is helpful. What I was going to talk about today is how to use an alter ego or a version of yourself to help you stretch into more of the future. And when I think about this, there's a book, Alter Ego, by Todd Herman, super book. And I think what happens is you have people that you recognize, that you appreciate, that you look up to. And you'll know some of the qualities or skills or character traits that they have. The invitation with today's video is to think about how you might try them on in 1% behaviors so that you consistently stretch and expand the identity that you think you're holding onto or stuck with. And the reason for this is because most of us describe ourselves with noun-based words. I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert, and that limits possibility. If instead we see ourselves as this, trying on, casting off, a continual verb or process type identity, we can transform who we are depending on the situation that's in front of us and what's needed. So again, what can you cast off as an identity container you've been using, and what might that allow you to expand into in the future? Again, a little bit more possibility, a little bit more openness to that will create more opportunity and more outcomes, hopefully, that you want more of. And again, when we think about this as trying on, casting off, you're wearing, for example, clothes. And a lot of coaching, one of my mentors says, is helping people take off the clothes that don't belong to them. And you're maybe wearing clothes that don't belong to you, but because we've never examined them or we don't think we can cast them off, we don't try on or cast off those ones that don't serve us and try on to the one that do. And so the invitation again is your identity is not this noun, this fixed container. It's this place that we can play and explore. And when we do that in roughly 1%, I believe it can make a massive difference to the results that you're getting in life. And so again, another way to pay attention to this is you'll hear people say, oh, I'm getting imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is just part of learning and growing. So we leave the safety of the comfort zone. We go into this fear zone. You haven't been here before. And we judge it as bad, so we move back to comfort. So we never actually expand towards the learning and the growth. But again, what if instead of the imposter syndrome feeling or that feeling of discomfort or other people's opinions or a lacking of self-confidence, what if we saw that as not a reason to move back, but a invitation to continue to move forward? Because then we get the learning, then we get the growth, then we get the development. But if again, those feelings are a signal to move away, well, then we'll never get those. And so imagine again, you tried on different identities, different qualities of people that you admire. How they would interact with the fear zone would be different potentially than how you do currently. And so trying on those other identities will change how you greet that fear zone rather than I move away from. Some people move towards, let me grow through and learn and grow from this kind of comfort zone. Let me expand away. For example, somebody might be Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins, one of the best coaches in the world, he would greet fear zone as just move through it. Wouldn't even think about it, wouldn't even become, it'd be a speed bump, not a stop sign to him. Nelson Mandela would just evolve through it. I said Tony Robbins. Me, I just see it as an invitation to explore more possibilities and more of my shadow, because typically the fear zone is just your shadow presenting itself and saying, are you more committed to the vision or to your fear? Because that's the choice. So if we tried on different people's responses to the same thing, we may move through that and grow through that and expand through that. And I think that that's a useful invitation to you today. So pay attention to this. What qualities do you need to develop? Where could you place your attention on the individuals that you want to have more of their qualities? What might you need to let go of to enable those qualities to play out? Right? So one example that often comes up for people is as a business owner, or as a coach, or as a brother, father, mother, sister, human, leader, colleague, friend, all that kind of stuff. What qualities could you test, or do you admire in other people in any of those roles? And how might you play with them? How might you build in 1% of them showing up a little bit more often? Because you can do that. How would Nelson Mandela show up to this next conversation? How would Will Smith show up to this gym session? How would Ray Dalio invest in this next opportunity? Right? We can bring more of that to the situation. And I think that that changes completely the outcomes that we get. And Atomic Habits by James Clear, he talks about this identity, process, outcome. Your identity shapes what you do and the results that you get. And if you're not getting the results that you want, you have to change what you do, but you also have to change who you are or how you be in the moment. And so trying on the beings of other people, again, other human beings, their way of being in the situation will change completely what you do, how you show up, and the results that you get. And so from this conversation, what's the 1%? What will you try? What could you experiment with? And if you treat it as an experiment, failure is built into experiments. Test it, lean into it. This is my cat Ludi, you'll see her tail in a second. Test it. What's the 1%? What's the experiment that's safe to fail, but that might move you towards doing different and then achieving different as well? That was a quick Mindset Monday. I hope it was useful. This is Vitamin P Coaching. I wish you a great day and a great week ahead. Thanks a million for watching.